You'd rather carry heavy boxes up wet stairs for a stranger than sit through one more family dinner. Your body already knows the difference between a real choice and a quiet obligation. And the third reason your brain treats that dinner table like a danger zone is actually worse than you think. Rain is hitting the car window hard. You're sitting there, hands still gripping the steering wheel, and the clock says exactly 5:47 p.m. Inside that house, the scent of a dusty cinnamon candle that's been burning for 20 years is waiting for you. A part of you just wants to turn off the engine and drive away immediately. The other part is silently calculating exactly how long you can survive this time before you have to start faking it. This isn't about hating your family. This is about your brain remembering exactly which role it was trapped in inside that house. If you've ever sat in your car longer than you needed to, you'll recognize exactly what's coming next. You'd rather help a stranger move apartments in the pouring rain than sit through one more family dinner. The rain is relentless. The cardboard box in your arms is soaked through and heavy. Your hands are shaking from the cold, but deep down, you feel strangely relieved. Why does exhaustion for a stranger feel safer than a comfortable chair at home? It's because your brain knows the difference between physical fatigue and soul-deep depletion. Muscle energy can be recovered, but the energy you burn acting the part of the perfect child cannot. You'd rather your lungs burn from climbing stairs than fake a smile at the dinner table. Not introversion. This is a much more painful defense mechanism. But do you notice something inside you shift the very second you reach for your own front door? You walk in. Something inside you shifts before anyone even says a word. Your hand tightens on the doorknob. The scent of a cinnamon candle from 2003 hits you, blending with the muffled roar of a TV that's way too loud. In that instant, the environment triggers old neural pathways in your brain. Your amygdala starts reacting exactly like it did when you were a child. You immediately lose the confident, 32-year-old version of yourself that you worked so hard to build in the outside world. Why do you feel so small and powerless in a single heartbeat? You aren't that kid sitting at the kids' table anymore, but your body is reacting as if time never passed. You're not 32 anymore, and this house knows exactly which version of you it wants. The system never updates. You sit down at the table, and immediately they call you by that dusty nickname from elementary school. They expect you to tell the same jokes, or they criticize your silence just like they did 20 years ago. Why can't they see the person you've actually become? The answer lies in Bowen's family systems theory. To maintain emotional balance, every member is unconsciously pulled back to their original spot on the family chessboard. Every time you return, you're forced to kill off a part of your true self just to keep the system from shaking. You aren't that timid kid anymore, but in this room, your voice suddenly loses its weight. You didn't choose the role chose you. So, you do what you've always done to survive it. You smile anyway. Your fingers grip the water glass until your knuckles turn white as you hear the 8th question about your personal life. Your eyes subconsciously flicker toward the back door, searching for an invisible exit. To maintain the character your family expects, your brain runs a heavy system of emotional labor. Every polite smile, every forced hug, and every "I'm fine" is paid for with pieces of your actual soul. Why do you feel so empty that even a long sleep can't fix it after you leave? You tell yourself that if you can just fake a smile for a little longer, it'll all be over. That's not connection. That's survival. And while you perform, your brain keeps a quiet score of every single wound. But the hardest part isn't what they do to you. You're lying in bed after getting home, staring at the ceiling, and your heart is still racing. The relief of being alone finally hits you, but it's immediately followed by a wave of suffocating guilt. Why does it feel like a victory to escape the very people you're supposed to love? It's because your brain has been hardwired to see self-protection as a shameful act. You're stuck in a toxic loop. You hate having to go. You hate being there. And then you hate yourself for being happy that you left. What kind of person doesn't want to be with their own family? The loop never stops. You feel guilty for protecting yourself. You hate who you become the moment you walk through that door. You're sitting in your car, hands still gripping the steering wheel as you stare at the familiar house ahead. The engine is still running, but deep down, you know. You can't go in this time. Why does turning the car around feel like a rescue mission instead of a betrayal? This is the moment your brain makes a brutal choice. Maintain the family's peace or keep the last remaining pieces of yourself. No matter which one you choose, you're going to lose something precious. Sometimes, skipping the dinner is the only way left to stay as the person you actually are. You don't have to fix the system. And remember, nobody is going to thank you for it. You don't dread the dinner just because they are family. You dread it because every time you walk through that door, you quietly agree to disappear again. You are the one who still shows up, smiles on cue, and then sits in the car afterward wondering why your chest feels so tight. Some doors don't open to let you in. They shrink you. Drop one word below if you've ever sat in the driveway longer than you actually stayed inside. If these quiet patterns hit harder than you expected, stay here. Next time the rain hits the windshield and your hand freezes on the key, you'll know exactly what your brain is protecting.